Good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha Show. Jeff Beals at your service. Glad you have joined us today. This is the only show in the area that talks about business expansion, real estate, construction, economic development, really anything related to Omaha becoming more vibrant, more prosperous. Thank you to our sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics, for making all of this possible. And without any further ado, it is time to bring on my co-host, a man who is a legendary real estate deal maker and all-around good guy, famous guy in town. He's one of those people to whom you can refer by only his first name, and everyone knows who you're talking about. So I'll do it the same way. Ladies and gentlemen, Trenton.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Jeff, for that kind introduction.
There we go. Your microphone was off.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Jeff, for that kind introduction. It's a beautiful Saturday morning, high above Underwood Avenue.
In the KFAB Penthouse Studios. And we have a restaurant review for you today. This week, our reviewer, Chris Corey, reviews Dolce, a fine dining restaurant on the southwest corner of 120th and Maple. You can read that and all of our Grow Omaha Eats restaurant reviews simply by going to growomaha.com. On the navigation bar, you will see the word reviews. And we have our restaurant reviews, which we call Grow Omaha Eats, and our movie reviews, which we call Grow Omaha Flicks. They're there. And all of our restaurant reviews and movie reviews are on there, going back to the very first one we ever published. And while you're there, you can look around because we post new content on growomaha.com every day. So it's your way to keep up with the news and the happenings when we are not on the air.
And we keep it brief, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the good content. You can dig further if you want to, but there's plenty of things going on, and it is fresh from Grow Omaha.
And with that, we're going to give you a lot more content right now with our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. EagleMortgageCompany.com is where you can find them online. 114th and Davenport. That's the office. Either way, Eagle Mortgage is a mortgage broker, so they are not beholden to any bank. They can shop a variety of banks and find the best loan, the best lending situation for you and your unique circumstances. You know, buying a house, big deal. Most people only do it a handful of times in a lifetime. And so you want to make sure you get it right. And they will take good care of you. They sit down with you at Eagle Mortgage, discuss what you really want to do, what you're looking for, learn about you and your situation, and then match you up with the best loan possible. Like I said earlier, 114th and Davenport is the office, or online at EagleMortgageCompany.com.
And if you prefer to stand, they will stand with you.
Thank you. Okay, so our first news item today is the Omaha Storm Chasers. They are changing ownership, currently owned by Alliance Sports. This is the company that is run by Gary Green from New York City. Gary and his partner, Larry Botel, have owned the Storm Chasers for a dozen years, have done a great job, and they are the same people who are behind Union Omaha. Now, you know from previous Grow Omaha episodes that Union Omaha has been playing at Werner Park, where the Storm Chasers are playing. They're in the process of moving downtown, going to build a big development there, a brand new stadium. This is kind of like groundwork to make that happen. So Alliance Sports selling the Storm Chasers to Diamond Baseball Holdings. This is a relatively new company out of California that owns like almost every minor league team in America. It's something like 30 minor league baseball teams that they've purchased. They've got some big California money behind them. And so their model is to buy up all of these minor leagues baseball teams, and they're doing it. And the Alliance Sports people say, hey, we believe in these guys are doing a great job, and they're going to take care of the team and grow it and develop it. And if you're worried, all indications are that the Omaha Storm Chasers will stay, continue playing in Werner Park. Marty Cordero, who's been the longtime president of the Storm Chasers, is going to remain the president even after the sale.
But he's also a part of Union Omaha, isn't he?
Not anymore. After this sale goes through, it's my understanding that he'll just be focused on the Storm Chasers. And Alliance Sports, Gary Green's team, they are going to be all in on Union Omaha, Trenton. So as we've reported in the past, plans call for a $300 million, 18-acre development on the grassy lawn between the Gallup headquarters and Abbott Drive, just northeast of Charles Schwab Field. That's where this is going to be. The stadium itself will seat about 7,000 people. Not huge, but super high on design and on amenities. And if you've seen some of the renderings like I have, beautiful, beautiful stadium. But what's cool is they just, Alliance Sports, brought on Hines Development Company out of Houston, which is the same company that's doing the Mercantile in the northern part of the ConAgra campus. So big time developer there. And so overall, for this $300 million development, including the stadium, we're talking about 300 residences, 140-room hotel, lots of retail, food, beverage, that sort of thing. Trenton, this is a step. A lot of people have been thinking, hey, is Union Omaha really going to build this thing? This is a step that basically tells me, yeah, this is for real.
Well, they can only hope that the streetcar gets extended to that, which would be a natural along the line of going to the airport.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see where that streetcar eventually does extend, because when you think about what streetcars do, and we've talked with our transit expert Eric Miller about this, it does not make sense to extend it to the airport, because streetcars do well when there's tons of development around all parts of the track. And if you go to the airport, there's like 1.5 miles, 2 miles of very little to nothing. And so financially, it doesn't make sense to build a streetcar to the airport along Abbott Drive. However, it would be nice if it at least went up to this development.
And there'd be a lot of TIF dollars on a $300 million development, I would think, right there.
Yeah.
Right next to Gallup.
It'll be very interesting to see. The initial renderings for this thing also showed a pedestrian bridge over the railroad tracks connecting this new development to Lot D of the CHI Center.
Oh, wow.
So, because if you get 7,000 people there, you're going to need more parking than what they have, and so they would then presumably use Lot D, and it'll be interesting to see if that pedestrian bridge happens. I mean, shoot, the whole process of building the Baby Bob has taken years. By the way, that's supposed to open next month.
That'll be cool. It should open. I can't wait for it. But what'll be really interesting is see how people get excited about soccer in Omaha, because we really haven't proven it yet.
Yeah, I think they will. I mean, Union Omaha has done well, given the fact that it's out in Papillion, shoehorned into a baseball stadium. I think when you have a true soccer stadium in development, and let's face it, there's a bigger percentage of the population in the eastern third of Omaha that's into soccer than in the western third. And you've got a lot more young professionals and Gen Zers. You've got a lot more Latinos in the eastern third of Omaha. So I think you'll have a bigger soccer crowd there. And then here's what's going to happen though too. I mean, once you build a cool venue like this and it's really special and it's very soccer specific, you can have people like me. I couldn't care less about soccer. But I'll still go to a game or two every year just because it'll be a fun place to be. And you know what? If you show up, you might get into it.
That's true.
You might find yourself suddenly getting into it.
So I'm still trying to figure out how one company can own like 30 minor league baseball clubs.
Well, first of all, you start with a lot of money.
Yeah. but what's weird about it, so all their teams play with themselves?
Well, they play each other and the other teams. So basically there are, 3 or 4 levels of minor league baseball per major league team. Mm-hmm. And so what are there, 32 major league baseball teams or something like that? So if that's true, then there would be 32 AAA, 32 AA. Then they have like high A, low A or something. So no matter who owns the teams, the 30 AAA teams or the 32 AAA teams, they play each other. But a good chunk of those are owned by this company that I think, like the Iowa Cubs out of Des Moines, they're one of them that this company owns.
But the idea is still for them to be feeders for Major League, right?
Oh, yeah, none of that changes. It's just the ownership of there's one company that just owns a heck of a lot of these minor league teams. But my guess is they were probably people who love baseball or sports and found some sort of model that they believe can be profitable by owning minor league sports teams. Will be interesting to see. Well, anyway, a couple other news items for you. Heartwood Preserve, which is the 500-acre development west of Boys Town and goes all the way south of Pacific Street up to Dodge. And a lot of things there. It's been under development for several years now, but interestingly, just within the last week, several new signs have appeared on buildings. So the 5-story building right on the corner of 144th and Dodge, that is anchored by Union Bank, now has PayPal signs on it. And you'll recall, Trenton, that PayPal had a very large building in Southport. 2 of them, left those. They've gone mostly virtual. I know a couple of people that work for PayPal. They're just virtual. But apparently they want some office presence because there's signage on that building. Also in Heartwood Preserve, signage has gone up on a building for Gunderson Jewelry for their flagship location and for 30 Hop, a beer-oriented restaurant.
Absolutely, and it's kind of fun. And then I think it's called Peoria. I get the name wrong, but above 30 Hop is a membership club basically that has a big, beautiful patio. I went up there, nice bars, comfortable chairs and everything. You have to be a member to bring your friends and all that kind of stuff, and it's actually pretty swanky.
Have you gotten a membership?
I have not, but it's better. It's like a pickup truck. You would rather have a friend with a pickup truck or a boat, and I get full privileges through my friend.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's sometimes a pickup truck is necessary, sometimes a boat is fun, but I sure as hell don't want to own either one of them.
Right.
Vasa Fitness plans to open and take over the former No Frills supermarket space on Fort Crook Road in Bellevue, just south of the South Roads. This was originally going to be part of Marathon Equity. There was going to be, they were going to use kind of that coffee roasting stuff that they have down there, and that's all changed. And so Vasa's going in there. Vasa is wildly popular. It is based in Orem, Utah. They opened their first Nebraska gym, earlier this year or late last year, if I don't quite recall, but in part of the former Shopko space at 144th and West Center Road. And so anyway, if you go by it, there's tons of cars there. It's very popular.
Yeah, but I still prefer Blue Moon Fitness. And Blue Moon Fitness is already open in Bellevue, and they just extended their lease for several years in that old No Frills shopping center and on Harlan Drive, or Harlan, I think it's Harlan Drive.
Take your word for it.
Yeah, but so Blue Moon Fitness, they've upped all their locations. So they're ready, and they have a women's only section, so check it out.
And finally, the Omaha City Council formally approved the latest proposal to redo the crossroads at 72nd and Dodge Street. Salt Lake City, Utah-based Woodbury Corporation, the new developer, plans to invest $862 million to convert the site into a massive mixed-use development. We've talked about this before, but it's now official. The city council approved it. The city will own part of the land. There's going to be a partnership there, if you will. And part of it is the city's going to own 3 parking garages. This is a new model the city started doing a few years ago that has turned out to be profitable for the city with this whole new Park OMA system. And so they're going to carry that there. And it looks like with Woodbury, the first building should start to go vertical next spring.
Do they say what food group as far as apartments, retail, office goes first?
Pretty much yes. Yes is the answer to that, but there's going to be phases. So the first phase will have kind of all of that, but then other phases will have more of that true mixed-use development. And it's going to be a very, very special project. We get a lot of people sending us notes at Grow Omaha saying that, hey, why does Crossroads or people like that is never going to happen? I think people just need to take a deep breath knowing that it's nearly $1 billion. And like one of the owners died a few years ago. I mean, things sometimes happen.
Well,
so folks need to chill out and be excited for the Crossroads.
He was 97 years old, maybe 98, Frank Kruse. But and he built a lot of Omaha. But Lockwood Development and and Century Development that Frank Krause had, did all the infrastructure, all the stuff in the ground, everything is pretty much done, and then it's ready for Woodbury to come and start going vertical. And so they made a new deal with the city and everything else. So I think it'll be a great development right across from this beautiful multi-million-dollar library that is going to be really cool. Did you see the parking garage going up?
It's awesome. And that is your news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Going to take our first break of the hour. And when we come back, we're going to bring on Douglas County Election Commissioner Brian Kruse onto the show. Why? Because we have an election on November 5th, and we want to make sure you're ready for it. So you're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid with you. We are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics. That is the nation's #1 all-star cheer gym. Great way for kids to get into competition and growth and development. In fact, All-Star Cheer is on its way to becoming an Olympic sport in 2028, and we recommend, if you're looking for a way for your kid or grandkid to get involved and to really allow them to become a better person and a brighter future, check out Cheer Athletics. You can find more about them at caomaha.com. We have with us Brian Kruse, who is the Douglas County Election Commissioner. Brian, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. You've probably heard there's an election.
It's showtime.
It's showtime. Can we just can you throw a little bit of weight around and make the election this Tuesday so I don't have to go through the next few weeks of being bludgeoned with campaign commercials? Can we just move it up?
And text.
You wouldn't hurt my feelings any.
At any rate,
Might hurt your job.
yeah, you might be in a little trouble. Anyway, we asked Commissioner Kruse to be with us today just to kind of make sure that all Grow Omaha listeners are ready for this election coming up. So, yeah, we know we've got the whole presidential thing at our throats, but what else are we dealing with on November 5th?
Sure. This is an unprecedented ballot, really, in Douglas County. You're going to have the president, of course. We've got 2 senators, a 2-year term senator and a 6-year term senator, because of the way Senator Sass resigned and the appointment was made. You got the congressman, of course. You've got a bunch of other down-ballot candidates as OPPD, natural resource districts. You're going to have judges. And then if you live in the city of Omaha, you will have 15 issues to vote on between the city of Omaha and the state of Nebraska.
Wow.
So, yeah, really the message is be an informed voter.
And those issues on the ballot are the ones that your average voter, and frankly, sometimes Jeff Beals, will get to the ballot and really don't know what they are. How do you go about preparing yourself so that you know what you're voting for with all these state and city issues?
The easiest way is to go to our website, votedouglascounty.com. Right up in the left-hand corner, it says find your voting information. If you put a little bit of information in there, it will give you a sample ballot of exactly who and what you will be voting on. So if you like to vote by mail, that's simple. You can sit at your kitchen table once you get the ballot and do your research from there. If you're going to the polling place, we highly recommend you look at this ahead of time, because if you walk in, it's literally going to take you 15 minutes to read all these issues without doing any research. You know, probably the best way to research these issues, for the state ones, you can go to the Secretary of State's website. They have pamphlets on there about them, the pro and the con. For the city ones, you could Google them. The city ones are fairly straightforward. They're mostly bond issues. They're 2 city charter amendments and a good life economic district.
Okay, so we have with us Brian Kruse, Douglas County Election Commissioner. And Brian, for decades, Election Day for me was a ritual, and I always kind of enjoyed it. But then I decided in either 2018 or 2020, I'm doing mail-in. With my schedule, it was just easier just to get it done and all that sort of thing. So how many people are doing mail-in now? Who's still going to the polls? And Give us a little overview of what how that works if someone is still trying to decide which method they're going to use this year.
Sure. So in Douglas County, we're about 50-50. 50% of our voters do early voting. 50% will show up at the polling place on Election Day. Ballots begin to be mailed out Monday. So between Monday and Tuesday, we'll mail out about 85,000 ballots in Douglas County.
That's only for people that send in those cards earlier, correct?
That's right. To get an early voting by mail, you have to request a ballot. So if you got one of our green cards,
Yep.
and you still
I've got
have
my green
it,
card, yeah.
perfect. That's great. If you still have that, fill that out and send it in. If you don't have it, you can go to our website, votedouglascounty.com, go under the envelope icon, and there's a form there that you can use to fill that out.
And that way you can actually get your ballot at home, and it's basically an open book test. You can do your research. You can go to your website. You can read about all the issues.
That's right. That's exactly right. And, that's the number one reason we hear now people like to vote early by mail is so they can study the issues.
But not often, ladies and gentlemen. That's illegal.
Yeah,
That's right.
But I tell you, Brian, that's the biggest reason why I did it was I actually had more time to understand what I was actually voting for, and I was always worried, what if I get called out of town, right before Election Day? I don't want to miss it. But let's talk about security a little bit. That was a big issue that came up in 2020.
That's right.
Some people are still skeptical about, maybe the safety or integrity of mail-in voting, and we've got these drop boxes. Is it okay to use these drop boxes? What do you have to say about the integrity of elections right now in Douglas County?
I would just say that they are safe, they are secure, they're accurate, and they're fair. Voters should be assured and reassured that there's no issues here. We have numerous checks and balances in place. Our drop boxes are a great tool. We have 13 around the county. All of them have cameras on them now, 24/7. We have concrete ballards around them, the drive-up ones. The slot is very narrow so you can only put one or two envelopes in at a time. And this year, we've actually added fire suppression systems to them, dry fire suppression systems.
Wow.
Really?
Inside, yeah. It'd be highly, highly unlikely somebody would try something.
They work, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have to test them.
Yeah, please don't test them. On behalf of the Omaha Fire Department and myself, please do not test them.
So let's fast forward to 8 o'clock p.m. November 5th. People are anxiously awaiting to see how their candidates did. Tell us what's going to happen, not who's going to win, but what's going to happen after the polls close on Election Day.
Absolutely. So right at 8 o'clock, we release results. The reason we can do that is because state law allows us to count early voting ballots on Monday before the election. We don't look at the results or anything like that until Tuesday evening, right before we put them out to the public. So if you're an early voter, yours is the first voice that will be heard on election night. And then we go 8:45, 9:45, 10:45, 11:45, etc.
And since the polling place is already closed, and you can't. But are there some votes that get counted later?
Yes, that's a great question. So first of all ballots have to be in our possession by 8 p.m. on election night. Postmarks do not count in Nebraska. But yes.
What about military?
Everything. Every ballot has to be in our possession by 8 p.m. We do count some ballots the Friday after the election. Those are early voting ballots that are turned in on election day. So just real quickly here, we do not find ballots. We do not find ballots in car trunks and closets in Douglas County.
Laundry baskets.
Laundry baskets. They're all accounted for. But we don't get those in until 8 o'clock on election night from the drop boxes. If there's 10, 12,000, we have to verify those signatures and do the election integrity process on the Wednesday and Thursday after the election, and then we count those on Friday.
Okay, so we have got to wrap it up, Brian,
Sure.
but really fast. 3,000 election workers.
Yep.
Do you got them all, or do you still need volunteers?
We've got them all for this election, 207 neighborhood polling places, 3,000 election workers. So if you're an election worker and you're listening, thank you. Thank you very much. We couldn't do it without you.
And one more time, the website for the Election Commission?
DouglasCounty.com.
All right, that's Brian Kruse, your Douglas County Election Commissioner. Appreciate you being with us, Brian, and I wish everyone a happy into the campaign season over the next month. All right, we're going to take our break for the news. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. All right, welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals at your service. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center along with Cheer Athletics. And I tell you what, Dingman's Collision Center, they do a fantastic job taking care of your automobile. Hey, we spend a lot of money on our cars, and for a lot of us, our cars are like an extension of our personality, kind of like your pet, maybe kind of like your child in some cases. You love your car. You want to take care of it. Well, if something happens to it, call Dingman's Collision Center. It doesn't matter which location you do, 4 of them. They're all great.
Or stop on by.
Or stop on by?
Yeah.
Of any of the 4 locations.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite location of Dingman's?
I've sold them most of them, so I like 144th and Industrial Road because that was an old Cougar Lanes bowling alley, and I found that for them and negotiated it, and I love working with the Dingmans. They are as good with their cars. They're as good as people as they are with their cars.
My favorite Dingman's location is 120th and Maple because it's closest to our office.
Yeah, I can see that. And they got the mechanic shop over there as well.
Anyway, Dingman's takes good care of you, and we thank them for being a sponsor of the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies, in which we highlight activity and news at one of the many Noddle Companies developments in town. Now, you should know that Noddle Companies is one of the premier real estate developers in the country and certainly in the Midwest. Headquartered here in Omaha, have been here for decades. Big projects, like Exarban Village and Builders District downtown. They're also famous for creating a lot of headquarters buildings, Valmont's headquarters, HDR's headquarters, many others, famous for creating spaces and places. In Exarban Village, they were the ones that got behind that whole cool area that is anchored by the Sonny's Airstream Bar.
Yep.
Noddle
Dog
is
park.
Yeah, they just make places that are special, and they do such a good job with all their buildings. So thanks to Noddle Companies for doing this. And this week's Noddle Companies property that will be of focus is Exarban Village. Couple news items coming out of the Exarban Village area. First of all, the Exarban Farmers Market was just named the #1 farmers market in Nebraska. And this takes place every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Now, if you haven't been to it, go check it out. Farmers markets are a lot of fun, even if you don't want to buy a lot of produce, because there are other things there as well.
They might have corn dogs.
They have corn, and I love going to farmers markets.
There's definitely corn, and there will be dogs there. I don't know about corn dogs.
I sometimes will hit both the downtown Old Market Farmers Market and the Exarban Farmers Market in the same weekend.
Wow.
Not often, to be candid, but sometimes I do. Other news coming out of Exarban area. Total Wine is getting very, very close. This is another one of those liquor superstores, national chain. Right now we've got Booze R Us in the former Toys R Us.
Booze R Us.
And we've got Wall to Wall. That's a Hy-Vee.
Yep.
And we have Macadoodles.
Yep.
Okay, but those are regional. They're great, but they're regional brands. This Total Wine is a true national liquor superstore. Drove by just this morning as part of show prep, looked in the window, and looks like pallets full of stuff are in there. So opening can't be too far away.
My prediction of the next year, you're also going to have another one called Willa Liquors.
Out of North Dakota, right?
Yeah, they've got a couple big stores.
Well, when Trenton makes predictions, usually they come. When Trenton makes predictions, I recommend you listen.
Yes.
He knows what he's talking about. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Noddle Company's commercial real estate development spotlight of the week. Hey, this is kind of a cool business. Back 9 Golf is opening soon at 7775 Olson Drive in Papillion. Basically, that's Shadow Lake Town Center. Shadow Lake Town Center is southwest of 72nd and Highway 370. Anyway, Back 9 Golf is an indoor golf simulator. There is an existing one in Regency Landing, which is near 680 and Pacific. And then Back Nine Golf has locations now in 13 states.
Well, you're seeing a lot of these, like the freestanding small golf simulators, and you can play any course, virtually.
Like Swing 365 has one at 180th and Harrison. I believe we're going to check into this, but I believe there's one of those or something like it going by Church's Chicken near 168th and Maple, along with the scooters possibly. We have to check into that and verify that. Hopefully we'll have that for you next week. And then we also want to remind you before we take our final break of the hour, don't forget our restaurant lists. If you go to growomaha.com, on the navigation bar, you'll see the word lists, Lists. And there are 5 restaurant lists: happy hour specials, coffee shops, daily restaurant specials, restaurants with party rooms. They even have one for birthday party ideas. These lists are getting thousands and thousands of views a week. And so get on there if you're ever with your significant other or your kids or your parents and you're in the car and everyone's like, "Where do you want to go?" "I don't know." "Where do you want to go?" "I don't know. You decide." "I decided last time." "Well, you decide this time again." Just go to these lists and it'll help you make a decision where you're going to go.
GrowOmaha.com.
And with that, it is time to take our final break of the hour. And you know what that means. When we come back, it's your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a very short period of time. I've got the list right in front of me, and it's a long one. So you don't want to miss this. Stay with us. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, Cheer Athletics, and, of course, Perkins Kreitzer Construction. We'll be back right after this on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
When you're in the mood for some of country's
I
greatest
have a
hits,
question.
like
I thought Total Wine was going in the old,
At Beth and Beyond?
yeah.
It's part of the Exarban area.
Oh,
Sometimes
that's an Exorbitant. I thought it was Village Point.
no, that
But
one's
I saw the rack was going in there. So.
yeah, Village Point is Nordstrom Rack.
Okay, so Total Wine is
The
Exorbitant.
Exarban Bed Bath. And technically, that's not part of Exarban Village. That's a different development. It's called the Shops at Exarban. But
Okay.
but for whenever we report on Noddle Company's Exarban area, I sometimes lump in some things around Exarban Village, just because it's kind of a broader area.
I remember Total Wine. I think Total Wine was the first big liquor store that opened up in Washington State.
Oh, so you guys had it out in Seattle back when you lived there?
We did. Well, and that was not long after they made it legal to sell it outside of the government.
Were they one of those states?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and those shops, those state-run shops were depressing.
Yeah, Utah has those. I remember I did a speech in Utah a few years ago, and my hotel was right next to one of those places, and it looked like, and I was in a nice area, like Sandy, Utah, like beautiful buildings, except for this state or city-run government liquor store up at my hotel was a dump. I mean, it was like you know how the parking lot was just greasy and dirty.
It's like going to the
building was made out of concrete. Yeah,
It's like going to the DMV to buy your.
Yeah.
You kind of feel like you're doing something wrong.
Where is this?
ugly.
See, it was in Washington State before they went away from state-run liquor stores.
I think my wife's hometown of Marshall, Minnesota has rules about
Even Colorado did.
about like
Where you can buy liquor.
yeah, like maybe they're city owned.
Yeah,
I
so
think
it's
in Marshall,
donation.
Minnesota, it's city owned, or at least it was. Weird.
And then you had to buy a club to go into bars. Like,
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
buy a club membership.
10 seconds. And let them beat the national lenders on rates and service. Eagle Mortgage. Online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. NMLS number 2376.
This is Nebraska's news, weather, and traffic station. News Radio 1110 KFAB and KFAB.
All right, welcome back to the show. It is time for your Perkins Kreitzer Construction Lightning Round, in which we talk about a lot of things in a very short period of time. Thanks to Perkins Kreitzer Construction for making this possible. Perkins Kreitzer Construction, Class A, full-service general contractor, headquartered right here in Omaha under the reliable, steady, and highly qualified leadership of Dave Kreitzer, our buddy. And they do a great job. A whole metro area. They go out into further out in Nebraska, up into other parts of Iowa. So the broader, greater Omaha area. And they can do anything from office buildings and strip centers to healthcare clinics. And we talk a lot about a lot of the restaurants they do. Like last week, we talked about the Bobafy bubble tea place that they just opened at 168th and Maple. The week before that, we talked about Perkins Kreitzer Construction starting work on the Hawaiian Brothers that will replace Boston Market. So they do it all, and they do a great job thanks to Perkins Kreitzer Construction. You can find out more about them by going to p-cconstruction.com. All right, here we go, Trenton. Big breath.
Bring it.
Trax Lounge, which is located just east of Exarban on 60th Street, famous for their fried chicken. Second location in the works. This one will be at 181st and Q Street. And this is a big deal. Williamsburg Pizza and Stories Coffee going into a building under construction just a little bit northeast of 156 and Maple.
Yeah, this is, I think it's Spalding. It's the...
Yep, Spalding.
It's where Hollywood Diner was. I sold that building and that land way back when. It's changed hands a few times, but it'll be good. Williamsburg Pizza is open and active at 168th and Harrison, and it'll be welcomed over on West Maple Corridor. The Stories is kind of blowing up as well. A
lot of locations for Stories now, especially after this one opens. There's a lot of the construction yet to go on that, so it's not going to be overnight, but coming fairly soon. Unfortunately, we have some closing news. Sunnyside on Center, a breakfast place at 3528 Center Street, is closing on October 6th. For a short while, they had a west location in the Elkhorn area along 204th Street, but that closed several months ago, maybe even last year, if I remember correctly. McDonald's has a couple new locations. A McDonald's just opened yesterday in Gretna at 194th and Highway 370. Another new McDonald's is under construction right now at 25th and Cape Heart Road in Bellevue. We have a fitness business opening in the Elkhorn area, 204th and Blondo. Pure Bear. It's Pure B-A-R-R-E. Would you say bar or bear? Pure Bear. Pure Bear. Pure Bear.
But what do we know?
I don't know. I don't go to fitness clubs very often. You might not be surprised to hear that, but Pure Bear.
They don't like it when people just go there to watch.
Opening that's frowned upon. Pure Bear opening new location, 204th and Blondo Parkway. It is described as a full-body workout gym. That'd be good for you, Trenton. 2 existing Omaha locations. This will be the 3rd. All right, Sip and Spice. That is hard to say if you've got a lisp. Sip and Spice. That is a Thai food and boba tea restaurant. Plans to open soon in a retail strip center in cap space at near 168th and Harrison. This has been like a lot of restaurants. Most recently, it was Cheeseburgers, a takeout joint. There was a hot dog place there once. There was a barbecue place there once.
Right.
So hopefully this one does better. Thai food and boba tea restaurant. The exact address, 6610 South 168th Street. Frosted Pine Coffee, a coastally inspired coffee concept, will open September 30th. That's coming up here pretty quick.
I knew we were missing something in our coffee.
2701 East Canesville Boulevard, near Baumgar's store in Council Bluffs. It is branded as a taste of Seattle, Washington in Council Bluffs, Iowa. A veteran-owned drive-through stand roasts through Delano's Coffee Roasters in Washington and sources baked goods from Wendy's. Not the Wendy's you're thinking of. Wendy's, a local bakery in Council Bluffs. Well, speaking of sweet treats, Blue Jays Ice Cream and Candy plans to open in downtown Ashland. And this opening date looking like October-November timeframe. The shop will feature 44 unique ice cream flavors, including gluten-free and dairy-free. Dairy-free? I just don't get this whole dairy-free ice cream. At any rate, if you have a lactose intolerance, so it's probably a good thing. That's going to be nice. Downtown Ashland, if you've not been there.
Yeah, what's going on?
It is a cool place, and it's getting better and better all the time. We have interior renovations are now underway on a future Wingstop restaurant at 176 and Welch Plaza. That's the Hawthorne Court Shopping Center, anchored by Hy-Vee, 180th and Q. Dallas-based Wingstop has 7 Omaha area locations. The music's playing, so that means we're just going to cut it off right now. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, Cheer Athletics, and Perkins Kreitzer Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.